What's up, True Crime World? You're here with Luminal on the Wall. I'm Bevy.
And I'm Becky. And today's case is about a brutal homicide. The details will leave you completely speechless. This is a case of Shad Thyrion. Listeners' discretion is advised.
Hello to all of our LOTW friends and family.
Yes, hello there. And hey, Bevy.
Hey, sister.
My, what a fun time to reconvene after 2 weeks.
Yeah, you guys wouldn't know it, but I was deathly ill.
Classic
Classic.
Bevy.
Whatever influenza was going around, though, my God, y'all, I did not go to work for 4 days. Like, it was bad. And I had started getting sick on the Saturday. So it was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Over a week of truly being quite ill.
Yeah, you barely made it to our dad's birthday celebration.
And I still sounded like a croaky little frog a little bit.
Yeah,
And that was a full week after I'd started feeling symptoms of sickness.
that's right.
So it really kicked my ass, but
But we're back, baby.
we're back, baby.
We actually forgot for a brief moment our little intro here.
Yeah, we're like, how do we say hello
What-
to everyone?
what do
Is it like,
What is it we do?
yeah. But then we quickly remembered.
Got back into the rhythm.
So here we are. And we're excited to share yet another case with you guys.
True that. But before we start, Bev,
Yeah.
I want to give a little reminder for everyone. Go follow us on whatever platform you listen to us on because it really helps us, improves our stats.
Yeah. Also,
And we like
download
to
our
know.
weekly episodes.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people end up just listening to it on their Wi-Fi, but download those episodes. We see it. We see the downloads.
Yeah, it really helps us.
Yeah. So yeah, that's super exciting. I think for our social media and our Instagram specifically and Facebook, we are going to show you guys my pregnancy announcement because it's cute. Becky took the picture, actually, oddly enough, at my dad's birthday.
Yeah. Bev
So we're
does not
going to
look
share
ill.
that with you guys.
One of the cutest photos I think I've ever actually taken.
It was rather flattering of both Craig and I, so thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, I doubted you after the first couple, but you know.
Yeah, I came in at a weird angle. It's all good. We fixed it. We found
fixed
what
it.
worked.
Yeah.
Ugh, first world problems right there.
Yeah.
Did you get the angle?
Did you get the freaking angle?
Yeah, exactly. Bevy,
Becky.
before we start, and completely irrelevant to our podcast topic, have you seen the new Martha Stewart documentary on Netflix?
No.
All right.
Have you?
I watched part of it. I did.
Do you recommend it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it is very informative. We grew up and we heard a lot about Martha Stewart, but we were children. We don't care about home living and pretty flowers.
Yeah.
I
But
didn't
now we
realize.
do.
Now, oh, fuck. Do we ever? Okay. But I did not realize how influential she was. She was like the pre-Instagram, like influencer.
Ooh.
That's how popular she was. I did not realize that.
I mean, listen, she even had a comeback after she went to prison, so.
I think one of her best stints.
You're proud of yourself for that one.
Yeah, I am. But I honestly think one of her best things was, pairing with Snoop Dogg. I find
Yeah.
their dynamic like so endearing.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It just gets me. Little Snoopy Snoop, little Martha. Love it. Love it.
Interesting. Maybe
And-
I'll have to take a listen to it.
Yeah, actually, anyone who's listening, go watch it. I also didn't realize actually maybe how, in her pursuit of perfection and businesswoman-esque,
Mm-hmm.
how assertive she was and kind of mean a
Okay.
little bit. But you really got to go for what you want and have it done how you want when you have this dream and this vision.
Totally.
So you can't let anyone try and take over.
No, it's true.
She definitely didn't let anyone take over.
I like that.
I love it.
So,
So
Martha.
let's get into today's case, Bev.
All right.
It's very interesting and it's somewhat recent.
Recent as in.
2023,
Oh, okay.
2022.
I enjoy a good recent case, I gotta say.
Yeah, so the name, which we'll get into in a second, very popular, not popular, no, very unique. You laughed at it earlier. So.
Yeah. I mean, listen, It's a funny last name.
But also, I could rock it.
Becky Shabusiness.
Does that not sound cool?
Yeah, so the girl's name that this case is about is Taylor Shabusiness.
Yes, she was actually born as Taylor Coronado on November 23rd, 1997 in Chicago, Illinois. She had a troubled path. Her mother, Marla, passed away from liver cirrhosis and alcoholism when Taylor was only 12. So she really kind of missed out in her teen years of not having a motherly influence.
That would be rough, eh?
I think that's, as a female myself, very important time of life to have
Your mom around.
Yeah.
For sure.
Not that any other years you shouldn't, but those ones are the hardest, I think. And everyone needs a mom.
Yeah, when you're going through puberty, you're like, what the fuck is going on with my body? Yeah, you definitely want your mom, hey?
Yeah, I mean, the last thing I ever thought, getting a period, grown titties, you don't want to go be like, hey, Dad, what's up with this? Like, fuck no, I'm going to live in...
You want to know something funny, though? Like, to everyone listening, when Becky and I both got our period, if this is maybe TMI, I'm sorry, but, like, we told Mom and we both were like, don't tell Dad. I think it was, like, mortifying. Yeah, but then Dad both, like, came down to us later the night that we got our period. He's like, my baby's a woman. And me and Becky are like, oh, my God. One, Mom, you betrayed us. You betrayed us. But also, like, Dad was so proud of us. And we're like, no. I don't want to be a woman.
I honestly think my experience was like a smidge worse, Bev. And the reason why I say that, not that we're comparing notes, but I was literally trapped in the car and Dad and Grandma were in the front seats. I'm sitting in the back just minding my own fucking business, listening to CJ92, enjoying rock and roll.
Just bleeding out the vag.
Yeah, no big deal. Dad turns the volume down. So my little woman... I wanted to jump out of that fucking car. Like, you at least could maybe go lock yourself in a room, hide your face.
He found me in my room. I was hiding my face.
Under the bed. I am only saying mine was worse because I literally had nowhere to go.
Yeah, you were trapped.
Cannot jump out of a moving
car. And not only
car.
that, but little grandma's in the front seat with you. You're like, geez Louise, Dad.
Yeah, and they're just like, oh, okay. I'm like, so cool. Now 3 people know. That's also mortifying.
Yeah, like, that's wild. But
terrible.
At the same time, I do understand Mom telling Dad, like, I wouldn't keep it from my husband. That's what she told me. She's like, I can't keep stuff from your father. I'm like, all right.
I mean, I left my conversation with Mom thinking she would keep that secret.
No, I did too. She should have been honest right from the get. She was like, no, it's fine. I won't see anything. And then you have Dad just all of a sudden.
My
like, oh,
baby,
no,
my little woman.
Yeah, you're like, ew.
Yeah, the worst time, I think, of my life when I look back at how I was feeling. As an adult, it's hilarious.
Yeah, and it's very natural. I mean, listen, if anyone has seen Seventh Heaven, they made it seem like this amazing thing. Like, the girls got their period and they're like, I'm a woman, Mommy, Dad, yeah! Like, they celebrated it. Yeah. And I was like, I did not feel those feelings.
No.
So I don't know what everyone
I want to
else's
hide in shame and go crawl in a hole. Definitely different experiences. Like, kids these days, maybe this was like a 5-year ago fad, period parties.
Oh, yeah.
Not a day in my life would I ever celebrate that.
Yeah.
Even to this day, I'm like,
I would not want to.
Fuck this week.
Yeah, you just have, like, I don't know what you would do for those, but no, that is not my experience. Anyways, let's
we can
Taylor, move on.
Yeah, Taylor had a hard time without her mother. Right. And very understandable. So without Taylor's mom in the picture, it left her and her brother to go live with her father, Arturo Coronado. The loss of Marla was hard to cope with. Taylor's teachers even expressed concern for her behavior. Her rebellious nature had escalated by 7th grade. They also noticed her struggles with mental health. However, she did receive treatment for that. But by the age of 14, she was drinking, smoking marijuana, which ultimately led to harder drugs down the road. In Taylor's senior year of high school, she was expelled for fighting with another student. And in fact, she never completed high school ever. Shortly after she was expelled, she moved to Texas to live with her grandparents, which at the time proved to be a really smart move. Taylor started focusing on her beard art. Beard
art? Just to add in an R?
I meant
her bead
art, which she was very talented at, and it seemed like she was on a better path. In 2017, Taylor gets some pretty devastating news. She finds out her father was arrested on charges of domestic abuse. He later received a 12-year sentence for sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl.
Holy crap, Becky.
Which I think poses the question, was Taylor ever a victim of her father?
Right.
Now, I pose that as pure question.
Like speculation,
no speculation.
I mean, sometimes, like, was she a victim of sexual assault or abuse, right?
Either, right?
I mean, was there a reason why when she was younger she did not live with her father, and only upon her mother's death she then lived with him? Like, was there more to that, you know?
I know there's a lot of questions, but I truly could not find any.
Hello, my name is Kristen Rigadel, and I'm a licensed insurance broker across Canada and in the United States. But I want to ask you a question. Is life super predictable? No, there's always going to be curveballs in life, but there's two things that I can guarantee you. One, we're all going to have to pay taxes, and two, we're all going to die. I know, it's morbid, right? But it's true. And that's where life insurance comes in. Life insurance is a selfless act. At the end of the day, it's meant for your loved ones in the event you were to pass away unexpectedly. And not that money can ever replace us, but I always liked the idea of leaving some money behind for my brothers, whether that be for their college education, or a down payment on a house, or even just time off of work to grieve. Because the last thing I would want for my family is to have to go to work and pay the bills while they're grieving. And so life insurance gives you the peace of mind that no matter when you pass away, your loved ones are taken care of. With flexible plans, affordable premiums, and coverage that fits your unique needs, I do the shopping around for you so that you can get the protection without the hassle. Because taking care of your future doesn't have to be complicated. If you'd like to discuss options, you can send me an email at krigadel15lrxc@wfgmail.ca or give me a phone call at 403-785-7670 to learn more and get a free quote today so you can live tomorrow with peace of mind.
Detailed information, like if she had no visiting with her father, like none of that. I had no idea.
Right. It's just like food for thought.
Yeah. That was the first thing I thought, was if her father was capable
of doing such things
with a 13-year-old girl, had he gone that far with his daughter. But he seems to love his daughter, so he might have not.
He might have not, but yeah. I guess the question remains.
That is the truth.
Do you love true crime and travel? Having traveled the world solo the last couple of years and being obsessed with true crime, I found myself researching others who took the same vacations but never made it home. The Last Trip is a true crime podcast covering missing and murdered people that were living their best lives on vacation. I'm your host, Jamie Bevy, and each week I'll bring you on The Last Trip, taking a deep dive into vacation culture and travel spots, tips on staying alive while traveling, and ultimately recreating someone's last days in paradise. What led to their last trip? What are the hard facts? What is the final outcome? And could you be next? David Snedden was a 24-year-old college student from Utah attending Mandarin classes in Beijing when he mysteriously disappeared while hiking Tiger Leaping Gorge. Chinese authorities said he drowned in the gorge, and U.S. authorities agreed, although his body was never found and his parents didn't believe that. 7 years later, out of the blue, they got a phone call from a former U.S. official who had evidence David is still alive. This case sounds like a Hollywood movie, but evidence doesn't lie. So where is David Snedden? Famous rugby player and Celebrity X Factor contestant Levi Davis went missing in Barcelona last year while on a backpacking trip through Europe. Just days before he vanished, he posted a 15-minute video to his Instagram account saying his life was in danger and people were after him. After he disappeared, several theories emerged. But what really happened to Levi Davis? Join me, Jamie Bevy, co-host of the popular true crime series Strictly Stalking, as I embark on a brand new adventure combining true crime and travel. Listen to The Last Trip wherever you get your podcasts.
So even though this was a really tough pill to swallow, Taylor kept trucking on until Taylor met the love of her life, Warren Chabot. This was a big turning point in her life. Warren was a bad boy and an addict. And kind of being in his presence, Taylor got hooked on meth as well. This relationship was not healthy, but they were in love, and the couple didn't waste any time. And on Valentine's Day in 2020, Taylor married Warren. And the couple legally changed their last name to Shabusiness.
Shabusiness.
So that was a personal choice they made.
Yeah, which is like why I think it's so funny, right? I don't know why. It's just like, of all names, Shabusiness.
Shabusiness.
Mine's Shabusiness.
Oh my God, Bev, that's exactly...
What? Is that why they did it?
Mine's just Shabusiness.
Is that why they did it?
No, I have no idea, but
you imagine?
it just made so much sense when you said it
Yeah,
like that.
totally. Right?
So I'm like, that was
You never
probably
know.
their thought process, because why else would you choose that last name?
Shabusiness, yeah.
Entertaining, though.
Hmm.
So Warren and Taylor moved frequently across Texas before finally settling in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Nice.
Taylor pursued her own creative passions, making beaded jewelry, like I said, and
Bearded jewelry.
Did I say bearded again?
No, not again. I'm just busting your balls.
Yeah, that could be a trend, yeah.
Bearded
Oh,
jewelry.
I love your bearded jewelry.
You know, our Uncle Dean did bejewel his beard.
Did he?
Yeah, he had he would braid it, and then at
Yeah.
the bottom he'd have those little
Little gem?
jewels at the bottom of it. Yeah.
Oh. I remember the braid, but not the jewels.
He was proud of them.
I wish I remembered that.
I think I could find a picture for you back.
I'm sure you could.
But anyway, she's making this beaded jewelry.
Yes, beaded jewelry, and she did various other handcrafted items as well. She actually did this really cool Green Bay Packers, like the tiny ass beads.
Uh-huh.
She made this whole thing of their logo. It was so cool.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
it was like very pretty. I was like, she should have capitalized on that. You know, she should have.
Mm.
However, during this time, her life was far from stable. We know she's doing drugs,
Yeah.
moving frequently, tumultuous relationship. And just 4 months after her wedding, Taylor was arrested for battery and resisting an officer. She pleaded no contest, but was found guilty.
Becky, can you remind me what to plead no contest means?
It is where the defendant accepts the conviction, but they don't plead guilty. to
Right, they
it.
don't admit their own guilt,
Yeah.
but they accept that this is what I'm being convicted of.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, you got
interesting.
it. And then in 2021, her life took another dark turn. Shortly after giving birth to their first child, her husband Warren was arrested on charges of conspiracy to distribute methamphetamine, eventually receiving a 2-year and 4-month prison sentence.
Dang. So now she's a new mom,
No husband.
no husband, addicted to drugs. Oh man, that's really
It's a rough
that's
time.
a kick in the nuts.
Yeah. Now, following Warren's sentence, Taylor also faced consequences for her own probation violations. So when she was arrested, she ended up going on probation, and she violated those terms. She was caught and sentenced to an additional probation sentence of 2 additional years for resisting and fleeing from officers, as well as possessing drug paraphernalia.
Damn.
Now, within this turbulent time of her life, Taylor crossed paths with Shad Thyrion, which I just have to say, doesn't that sound like a power name?
Shad Thyrion, yeah.
Yeah, like he was born for greatness with that name. Now,
Was he though? Oh, okay, look, I'm reading ahead just slightly. He's kind.
he's a kind person, yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's a nice name for sure.
Yeah. So Shad was born on September 7th, 1997 to Tara and Michael Thyrion in Green Bay, Wisconsin. He grew up with 2 sisters and a brother, and Shad was known for his kind heart, his love of the outdoors, and his extraordinary skill in wood carving, an art he pursued passionately, building a strong reputation in his community. After graduating from Bayport High School, he worked alongside his father and grandfather in the family business, all while finding solace in the art scene, where he carved wood into exquisite pieces that reflected his gentle creative spirit. Now, Taylor and Shad moved in the same social circles and shared an artistic bond, as well as a growing addiction to meth. So,
I'm sorry, what?
yeah, they were both addicted to meth.
The fuck, man?
I know. It has a strong grip over people, unfortunately.
Yeah.
As I'm sure you can kind of imagine, their relationship was a tangled web of unmet expectations and volatility. Shad viewed Taylor as someone he had romantic feelings for, but she saw their relationship as merely sexual and convenient while her husband was locked away.
I don't know, Becky. That dynamic seems like a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
It does,
like
doesn't it?
one guy is going to get his heart broken.
Well,
And when people's hearts break, they can become unhinged. We know it.
we've heard it too many times.
Yeah, so like I don't know if that's what happens, but I'm claiming it right now. That's my goddamn guess.
That's her guess, guys.
I think Shad is going to kill Taylor.
Interesting. Well, let's keep reading, Bev, and find out.
Yes.
So like I said, Taylor was still married to Warren, and she was struggling with her own inner demons at this point. And that included a disturbing obsession with notorious serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer.
Well, that came out of nowhere.
I know.
Is she going to be the killer? Damn it. I hate when I'm wrong.
I know. If only you'd read like one line ahead, you would have seen.
Oh, no.
But before we get to that, on October 22nd, 2021, Shad himself had been arrested for disorderly conduct and resisting an officer. And I feel like these are just kind of common charges that seem to happen with a lot of addicts.
Right.
Right? You
Yep.
know?
They maybe get stopped in the street. They're a little bit belligerent at the time.
On drugs
They
and
could be
all,
on drugs. And yeah, and then the
acting all
officers just
skitsy.
slap them with a disorderly conduct and resisting an officer.
Yeah, because they run away.
Hmm.
So that goes on for a little while. Shad gets out of jail, deals with his drugs, deals with Taylor. But then in 2022, Taylor's brother ended up getting killed in a motorcycle accident. And this sends her into a downward spiral. She spent time in psychiatric facilities and relied on medication to cope. But her mental health remained fragile after that.
Yeah, that's a huge loss in someone's life, right?
Mhm. Like, she didn't have too much family, right? Like, she
Mhm.
already lost her mom, her dad's now in jail, and now her brother.
Yeah.
That'd be a fucking blow.
Yeah.
In the early hours of February 22nd, 2022, Taylor Shabusiness and a friend picked up 24-year-old Shad Thyrion and headed back to her apartment. The trio smoked a few joints before turning to methamphetamine. I don't know why I made that so long. I always sound like methamphetamine.
Yeah, you very much enunciated every little syllable you could have.
Yeah, so they did meth, and Taylor and Shad's friend left, and that's when they decided to inject trazodone. Now, I don't know about you, Bev, but I had no idea what trazodone was before.
I don't know at all.
Well, it is an antidepressant often prescribed to lift moods and improve sleep and help with depression.
I wonder if like that helps them come down from meth slightly because meth is such an upper. If it
Yeah.
helps you like
Come back down?
and improve your sleep, maybe not. I don't know.
You know, I was thinking, now that you just said that, though, it seems like kind of contraindicated of doing drugs if you're taking meth and want that high
Mm-hmm.
to then take something to bring it down. So that's interesting. I don't know enough about drugs to even think about that, really.
Well,
But-
I think like a lot of drugs that make you go like give you a really intense high, and that's like a really intense upper. When it starts to wear off, it can like feel depressing. Like if that makes sense. So it's like even though the
Sure.
initial use is to have like such an up, when it starts to wear off and you come down from it, it can be uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying this from my experience. But yeah, like maybe it just like helps them be in a better mood after that and then allows them to sleep because methamphetamine like
No, it can keep you up for days, they say.
yeah. So who knows?
Okay, fair.
I'm purely speculating. I don't know.
You know what?
Again, not from my experience.
Just from what you know about it. Well, maybe that makes a bit of sense because around 9:30, Taylor and Shad actually make their way over to Shad's home where he lived with his mother, Tara. So I'm wondering if maybe they did that so they could drive safer?
Drive safer and maybe not be obviously high to his mom.
Maybe. Like, I really am purely just, like, guessing here,
Yeah,
but
same
trying
here.
to make things fit.
Yeah. It's really quite irrelevant to the story overall, but
100% it is.
yeah, we're just like in our heads a bit. Okay.
Yeah, we're thinking.
Well,
We like to think.
we're thinkers.
Thinkers.
Like we could be totally wrong, but we're just like,
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
don't
we
quote
love
us
to
on this,
think
everyone.
we're so intelligent putting pieces of this puzzle together. Idiots. Just kidding. So anyways, when the couple arrives at Shad's home, they went straight into his basement where his bedroom was. Tara, Shad's mother, said she overheard her son and Taylor's voices, but just after 9:30, she actually ended up going out and left her son to his company. So whatever they did after that, she had not a clue. Maybe she didn't want to know. I don't know.
speculating again. What was Shad's mother thinking on that very night? Oh, I know. This is why she was out.
Oh, look at me. So smart. All right. Well, she actually went out to hang out with her boyfriend, and the couple returned home hours later around 2 a.m. And they didn't hear anything at the time. It was just silent in the home. She assumed her son and his guests had either left or fallen asleep. So Tara and her boyfriend went to bed themselves. But around 3 a.m., Tara was jolted awake by the door slamming shut. Not sure if Taylor had left with Shad, she went downstairs to check to see if Shad was still at home or not. The basement seemed quiet, but it was dimly lit from the light peeking from under the door in his bedroom. Assuming Shad was still home, Tara turned around to head back upstairs. But as she moved, she noticed a bucket covered by a towel sitting near the bottom of the stairs. Now, it might be funny that I'm mentioning it, but it really stood out to her because it was so out of place. It was just such a random thing to just be sitting there. Because of that, Tara grabbed the towel, intending to put everything away. But when she lifted that towel, she was absolutely horrified to find the contents of the bucket. It was her son's severed head.
Shut the front door.
I cannot shut it. It was his head.
Oh my God, Becky.
I feel as though that would be the last thing I would ever expect to see in a bucket.
And probably the most traumatic
home.
thing to even witness. Like I couldn't even oh my God.
Yeah.
That would be more worse than mortifying. Like that would be literally PTSD worthy.
Yeah. It's not good. So obviously horrified, she yells out. She calls her partner and he came racing down the stairs and they quickly called 911. In the call, Tara's boyfriend relayed the situation to the dispatch. His voice was cracking and he described the unthinkable scene. He's quoted saying, "My girlfriend found her son's head in a bucket. She claims it's her son's head." He said it in a daze and almost as though he couldn't believe the words that were actually coming out of his mouth.
No kidding.
You know?
Yeah, of course. In what world would you ever find yourself needing to say that sentence?
Oh, literally never.
Yeah.
Now the dispatcher asks if Tara might be hallucinating. Her boyfriend assures the dispatcher that she was not. And he said after that, "There's something in that goddamn bucket, man." Now the police arrive a little while later around 4 a.m. The gruesome scene in Shad's bedroom revealed more than just the bucket in the basement. There was blood pooled across the mattress, and within the basement, the officers found bags and tote boxes with a collection of knives and other mutilated organs, human organs, inside them.
Shad's organs.
Knowing Shad was last seen with Taylor, they knew most likely that they were looking for Taylor Shabusiness. Investigators quickly located her vehicle outside her registered address, where they discovered blood drops and bloody footprints outside her van. As police approached her building, Shabusiness walked outside. Taylor seemed a little shocked to see the officers. Immediately, they noted the blood staining on her sweater and hands. As they moved in to detain her, she seems unsettlingly calm and composed. With Taylor in custody, detectives began combing her apartment and vehicle for more evidence. Inside Taylor's van, officers found a cardboard box containing Shad's severed leg. Now, Taylor spoke openly, almost proudly, about her actions, explaining in graphic detail how the night had unfolded, seeming almost amused by the brutal acts she had carried out.
My jaw is on the floor. I really
Floored.
I'm floored. Literally floored. Yeah, I'm.
The
Oh
silence
wow.
said it all.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as you can imagine, Taylor was taken down to the police station. And there, officers noticed Taylor had pretty severe cuts on the palm of her hands and thumb. She also had several scratches on her arms. And Bev, her statements were very chilling, describing her actions with an unnerving blend of casualness and dark enthusiasm. She claimed that she and Shad had started with consensual sex and some BDSM using chains, something they had tried before. Tonight, though, Shabusiness took things further. She admitted to choking Shad with a dog chain, literally a choke chain.
Oh my God.
And I quote, she said to the officer, "She was riding him like a donkey. I started pulling and I don't know." She explained that she was blacking in and out of consciousness, but was really enjoying it, and eventually realized Shad's face was blue and he was coughing up blood. And though he began coughing up blood, she simply just continued. She was quoted saying, "I was pulling and I just don't know," she murmured before admitting, "I liked it." She admitted she first cut his head off and then proceeded to play with his penis. Detectives asked if she enjoyed it, and she said, "Oh, yeah." When detectives asked her if this was premeditated, she shook her head and said it just happened. You know, when you love something so much, you just kill it. At one point saying, "I was sucking and cutting at the same time. I liked it." Now, the detectives asked and were wondering, I guess, if this was foreplay. And she said, "Yeah, but I kept going. I don't know why I didn't stop." They asked if this was normal for her and Shad, but Shabusiness said they mostly just choked each other and it had never gone this far before. Taylor also explained to the investigators that she really wanted the head, but she got lazy and only grabbed the leg. She then claimed that the police are going to have a lot of fun trying to find all the organs because they're all dismembered. After this very, very shocking admission, she was charged with murder, mutilation of a corpse, and third-degree sexual assault, and was held on a $2 million bond while the case was being investigated leading up to the trial.
I fucking can't deal with that. That is like, wow. That's disgusting.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot to take in.
Yeah, like we just need a moment.
Yeah. I'm like, I literally researched this and I feel as I'm reading it to you, I'm like,
it's like hard to say out loud, isn't it?
Yeah. I have to say, Bev, I watched her interrogation and the quotes I read are just part of it, right? It's obviously not the whole thing, but she was just talking like it's her best friend. Like, yeah, we had like so much fun. I like cut his head off. Like she was just so like lighthearted about it. She was at times like kind of laughing through her responses. Like it was really messed up to watch because it's this gruesome murder.
Yeah.
But it was just like talking to your best friend about it. It was so fucked. It was really weird, I have to say.
It's also just like, it's really weird to get the verbal confirmation of like what she was doing to the body while she was like also performing sexual acts. Like to me, it's just so twisted. Like my mind can't compute that that's even a thing. Like, I don't know. Like lots of times you hear of the injuries to the body and what that person went through, but you don't always get that first hand account of like what was happening during those like moments. And that's just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I think that's the most brutal thing I've ever fucking heard, honestly.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was pretty upsetting actually. Now, the investigation unveiled even more disturbing details that painted a picture of Taylor Shabusiness's mindset. Police found search records on her phone for terms like cadaver, Satan, and Jeffrey Dahmer, because we know she loved him. There was drug paraphernalia in Shad's bedroom, and the evidence found in his room were 2 choke chains, a dildo, blood and biological material in the shower and drain, and on a squeegee, all in the undeveloped part of the basement. Now, under Shad's bed in his bedroom, on the concrete floor, they found a bunch of blood drops as well as blood smears and partial bloodied shoe prints. Detectives assumed that when Taylor had killed Shad, that the bed had been in a different place in the bedroom, and that when she had dismembered him and was taking stuff out to her van, at some point she had actually moved the mattress to cover all of that. I don't really see what value that had, though, because there's like organs all around and blood-soaked mattress and Shad.
And like his leg in your vehicle. Like,
right? Like,
just...
that's what you were concerned with? Maybe she was trying to hide one of the organs or something, thought that was smart, but either way.
She was stupid. Like,
it was under the mattress, and the detectives were like, what is that? Why? You know, it's kind of confusing, but it was there.
Wow.
Now, as we know, Shad's leg was in the back of her van with a pair of his shorts, and it was in a crock pot box attempted to be hidden. Shad's blood was all over Taylor's clothes. There was a wooden knife block in Shad's kitchen, and it was missing 4 knives that matched the ones found scattered around Shad's room in the same bags and totes as his organs. An autopsy conducted by Dr. Tranquita brought even more horrifying details to light. He said, "We have decapitation, dismemberment, transection of the torso, and post-mortem mutilation of the organs." He testified, noting that such actions would have taken hours and were done without any indication of bleeding because Shad had already been deceased. Toxicology reports later revealed methamphetamine, cocaine, and marijuana in Shad's system, but these substances were determined to have no role in his death. His official cause of death, Dr. Tranquita concluded, was strangulation, and the manner was homicide.
Well, that matches her account of, how he initially passed away.
Exactly. Now, due to the graphic and disturbing nature of this homicide, the trial judge ordered Taylor for a psychological evaluation. No shit. Am I right?
Right, like who the fuck in their right mind would ever do something like this?
Exactly. We need to double check where she's at.
Yeah.
And although when she was younger, she had been found to have bipolar disorder, ADHD, and severe depression, none of this affected the ruling of that evaluation. In May of 2022, Taylor was found to be sane and fit to stand trial. After that, the trial judge entered a not guilty plea for Taylor, and the trial was set for October 2022. But just a month before the trial was to begin, Taylor changed her plea to not guilty by reason of insanity. Even though they had already found her sane and competent to stand trial, just change the plea to, prolong this whole thing. So when she changed her plea, it forces the courts to push back the trial and set another psychological evaluation. However, it didn't take long for the second evaluation to come to the same conclusion as before. Taylor was sane and still fit to stand trial. Now, the pre-trial was set for November 2022. In the pre-trial hearing, Taylor's defense team argued that she was so highly under the influence of methamphetamine and trazodone. At the time, she confessed to investigators that what she said could not and should not be used against her, as she was out of her mind, and anything she could have said could have been fictional and only part of a dark fantasy. Therefore, the admission should be thrown out as evidence. They also requested that sexual assault charges be dropped, as Shad was already deceased at the time. Like, don't you just sit there and be like, so what if he was dead?
He didn't have a choice in being dead or having those things done to his body after he was dead.
Right?
Like, I'm pretty sure if he had a choice, he would have been like, hey, my sexual fantasy is not to be choked out until I fucking cough up blood and die.
Yeah, also
and then be mutilated.
Yeah, also, I'd like to keep my organs, thank you, Taylor.
Yeah, like, he literally couldn't have a say because she made it that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, sorry, it all comes into play of a sexual assault. Like, her initial, choking him out to that extent is sexual assault.
Right?
Yeah. Like, that's bullshit. I mean, I know they have to do their job and, fight for something, but I'm sorry. That one I can't get behind. I can't get behind any of it.
Yeah.
But,
you're like nice try,
really?
but no cigar.
Like, sorry, he was dead at the we sexual assault that happened as a result of his death, we can't use that. There's no way. Because once he was dead, he has no say. He can't be a consenting adult. So, yeah, we should just throw that out.
Right?
It's what the fuck?
Yeah, okay, nice try. Well, fortunately, the trial judge agrees with us and denies all requests. He believes there was multiple officers and detectives that are testifying that Shabusiness had been coherent and composed, both at the scene and during questioning. And on top of that, there was body cam footage of her behavior as well. And after this, the trial date was set for May 15th, 2023. In a hearing in February of 2023, Taylor attacked her attorney in court, and it was all caught on camera. But seeing as she was all shackled up, she did not do too much damage and was taken down rather quickly by the courtroom security and immediately. But she literally attacked him. Now,
her own attorney.
Yeah, her own attorney. Now, I thought, why would you attack your own attorney? He is doing the best he possibly can based on this situation. Are you pissed at him? Maybe he offended you? I don't know.
Are you trying to make it seem like you are insane? Are you trying to add some clout to that statement or what?
Yeah, exactly. I did hear in a little news cap that she could have potentially just been trying to prolong the hearing or the trial as well, because that happens, then they have to reevaluate, postpone it, stuff like that. So,
and I guess it worked because the trial date was postponed, right?
Yeah, right to July 24th, 2023. So fortunately, there was no more hiccups
after that.
Yeah, they got to go through with the trial. But throughout the trial, Taylor presented despicable behavior. She was caught grinning and laughing on several occasions at the details of the case and some of the evidence, which I think is an absolute slap in the face for Shad's family, especially because they were learning about many of the brutal details of this case as the trial happened.
And then to see the person that's responsible have zero remorse
And like laughing about it.
Yeah, that would, oh God, yeah, that would be
Hard to-
enraging.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It'd be hard to just sit there and not like want to jump over that fucking railing and like attack her.
Yeah.
But you have to be calm, cool, and collected. You're in court and you don't want to catch charges. So that must be the hardest thing about this for the family. Well, no. Losing Shad is obviously the worst, but
it's another traumatic thing happening to them, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you saw someone who murdered your family member, at least be remorseful. I think like you might be able to just like, I don't know. It's just, even if you saw someone not being remorseful, but they weren't like laughing in your fucking face about it, it would be easier. Like when someone's laughing in your face about something that was probably the most tragic, most upsetting time of your whole entire life up to this point, like, oh God.
the amount of rage that must just build
God.
in you is probably an unreal amount.
No, I could just imagine. That's just devastating, honestly.
Yeah. So after the case had been fully presented to the jury, they were sent to deliberate. And within 30 minutes, they came back with a decision.
Well, they didn't waste no time.
No, they didn't. They're like, I think we know.
Yeah.
They had found Taylor Shabusiness guilty of first-degree intentional homicide, guilty of mutilating a corpse, and guilty of third-degree sexual assault.
Mm-hmm.
The jury believed that at the time of the crime, Taylor did not have a mental disease or defect, that she was sane and competent. On September 26, 2023, Taylor Shabusiness was back in court sporting a spit guard. Apparently, she was being pretty naughty before, so they took precautions and said, sorry, gotta wear this little mask. Judge Walsh sentenced Shabusiness to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. Walsh said he had to protect the public from her. This crime offends human decency. It offends human dignity. It offends the human community. It really does, he declared. Shad's father, showing an extraordinary degree of compassion, chose forgiveness over hatred. He was quoted saying, "I believe everybody makes bad choices. Maybe not to this scale. It does no good to hate you. I know you've got a heart, got a mind."
Damn, Becky.
It takes a big person to say that.
Yes,
I
it
think
does.
If I was in that position and I had the opportunity to say something to my child's murderer, I don't know if I could be that kind.
Have that much empathy, even. Like, that
Mhm.
shows an insane amount of empathy. You know, like, everyone makes bad choices. You made a bad choice. Like, you have a heart inside of you. It's fucking dead, by the way, but you know.
But it's there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it takes a big person.
Now, you can imagine the community of Green Bay was rocked by Shad Thyrion's death. A young man remembered by his family as a kind and humorous soul who loved those around him deeply. For his family, the tragedy served as a grim reminder of the destructive spiral of addiction and the thin line between fantasy and unspeakable violence.
I think this is a really hard case to find words for. I think that last sentence there summed it up perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I am still reeling from the details of this case. Like, I don't think I will ever forget this case.
No.
My heart goes out to Shad's family, and I feel devastated for Shad, like, that being the last moments of his life.
For sure. I think for me, Bev, what is so hard about this case is that I think the first half of the story about Taylor's life, you have like so much compassion. Like, she lost her mother, she lost her brother, her dad's in jail
For doing unspeakable things, truly.
you know, and so your heart really goes out to her and be like, yeah,
Yeah.
no wonder why her life was kind of hard and
Why she got addicted to drugs.
yeah, like she had so much pain inside, you know. But then she goes and does this fucked up thing and is so careless about it and so heartless with absolutely no remorse and is like laughing, spitting on people, attacking her attorney and just kind of making a mockery of it all,
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
But she also was so blunt and like told all the details with like no shame.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind that someone could be like that and be found sane.
Yeah.
And to stand trial, right? Like,
well, what I thought was interesting is the legality concerning how a person is found either sane or insane at the time that they commit an act. And based on what I found on Wikipedia, it basically tells you that you have to be able to establish a claim of the person experiencing like or having a mental disorder. So the person, like her attorney, would then have to show that the person who committed the crime was suffering from a disease of the mind, and that at the time of the offense, they were either 1, unable to appreciate the nature and quality of the act they were committing, or 2, did not know it was wrong morally or legally, which, given her clarity after the fact and her retelling of what she did, telling them that she liked it.
Yep.
Like, she knew it was not right, but she still was like, but I just was like I liked it actually.
Yeah.
Like,
it's almost like she just let her
knew.
urges overtake and was like, I like this and I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Like, yeah. I knew it wasn't necessarily right, but hey, I enjoyed it. So I just did it. So like, she shows the awareness that it was wrong, but also that she just didn't care.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why I just kept going, but I did. Like, she knew.
Yeah.
And the fact that she, like, laughed about it after, like, someone is dead and you're laughing and you're recounting it. Like, just, I think that alone can show that she was not, at the time of the act, like, out of her right frame of mind. It's not like she committed an act in a different frame of mind and then came out of it and was like, what the fuck have I done?
Yeah.
Right?
Like freaking out.
So I think that's probably why they didn't offer that, even though to the average person like you and I, that is an act of insanity. Like, it is.
Yeah.
Like, that is fucked.
But she's competent insanity.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't know if I'd say insanity, Bev. I'd say pure fucking evil.
Pure fucking evil.
Pure fucking evil. So this is a case of Shad Thyrion. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for sharing. Sorry, I feel slightly traumatized. If anyone's on the same boat, we can appreciate the case, Becky, but not sure we're thankful for sharing.
And just your weekly reminder to download our weekly episodes, follow us on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever streaming platform you listen to us on, and give us a follow on our social medias. You can find us at Luminol on the Wall. Can't wait till next week.